Hey vinyl friends and vinyl community, it's Brian from Brian's Vinyl Records, and I am here to announce my contest for reaching 100 subscribers. Thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel, and especially thank you to all those who continue to watch and comment on my videos on a regular basis. I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. So, in honor to celebrate that event, I am going to have a fun contest. Here we are. Fall is almost here and we are back to school. For those of you who have kids, you know what time of year this is and how important and fun it can be. So I have 3 children. All of them are in school for the first time this year. I've got a middle schooler, a 6th grader, I've got a 5th grader, and I've got a little boy who's starting kindergarten. So this is his first time in school, and I'm super excited for all 3 of them. Just amazing changes in their lives are coming up here, and I couldn't be more excited. So in honor of that, I decided to throw a contest, and the contest is basically this: show me albums that remind you of different times in your school life. So what does that mean? So here we go. What I want you to do is 4 things. First, show me 1 or more albums, CD, record, tape, I don't care what the media is, it doesn't matter. But show me 1 or more albums that remind you of grade school. You know, kindergarten through, say, 5th grade. Give me some albums that you listened to in those days that you still love to this day and reminds you of those times when you put them on. Number 2, show me 1 or more albums, again, media doesn't matter. Hey, if you got a VHS of a concert from the band, great, awesome, throw it on. Show me 1 or more albums that remind you of middle school. We'll say 6th grade through 8th grade on this one. So what are some albums that maybe you listened to in those times and that you really enjoyed? Number 3, show me 1 or more album that remind you of high school. Simple. And lastly, show me 1 or more album that remind you of college, and if you didn't go to college, the years subsequent to high school. Show me some of those. So that's it. That's what I want you to do. 4 things: grade school, middle school, high school, and post-high school, college, whatever you did. Show me some albums from that. Now, in order to win the contest, you do need to be a subscriber to the channel when I do the drawing. You have to submit a video, and the video must be submitted by September 30th. The drawing will take place on or after October 1st. And lastly, you must leave a comment below on this video to let me know that you have an entry. Do not post a link to the entry because those usually get deleted by YouTube. Just let me know you did an entry. I'll head over to your YouTube page and check it out and create a playlist of all the entries that have been submitted. So that's it. With that said, I'm going to take part in the contest myself. So let's begin with 1 or more albums that remind me of grade school. I couldn't even begin without this album and this man, because this was my foray into music. This really got me excited about music, in love with music, and it was this album and this tour, believe it or not, I was able to go see this. This is Michael Jackson's Bad album. This man was my musical hero when I was in grade school. I tried to dress like him, not in public, but in private. I tried to dance like him. I tried to sing like him. And this album is what did it for me. My dad took me when I was just 10 years old to go see this concert live when it came through Minnesota. And it was an amazing, amazing experience. So props to Michael Jackson for inspiring me to be more of a musician. So there you go. That's the first one. I've got more. I got 1 more I'm going to show, and that's this one, because I was a closet New Kids on the Block fan in grade school. I've told this story before, but myself and my brother and my cousin would hammer around the TV and pretend that we were these guys singing to their concert videos that we had, and also listen to these all day and pretend we were them in our bedrooms trying to sing like them. It was an amazing, amazing experience for me. It's just great memories. And so New Kids on the Block, Hangin' Tough was a big one for me in those grade school years. Moving on, middle school. Middle school was tough for me, but I've got a couple albums that really were a part of my middle school years. And the first one I'm going to show you is Poison, Flesh and Blood. The year between 6th and 7th grade was a transition year for me. I was going from a private school to a public school for the first time, and a couple of my buddies that were in my private school class got together with me over the summer, and we had a boombox, a basketball, and a couple cassettes. And one of those cassettes was Poison, Flesh and Blood. It was my introduction to the band. I became a massive fan of Poison after that day, but this one always holds a special place for me because it was that first one and I fell in love with the album itself. So here's Poison, Flesh and Blood. And also on that same basketball trip, or basketball event, came this one, AC/DC's The Razor's Edge. This is the other album we listened to that day, and again, I became a massive fan of AC/DC. This is my favorite all-time band right here, and it started in between 6th and 7th grade. So AC/DC became a huge, huge thing for me around that time. So it always reminds me of my middle school years. Moving into high school, music changed and my interests changed, and we'll start with the grunge era took over, and this album was an important part of me becoming a grunge rock fan. Pearl Jam 10. What can you say? From the opening track, Once, all the way to the end, it is a powerhouse album. And I remember I started playing guitar again around age 12, and by the time I was a freshman, I was playing with a couple buddies of mine, and one of the first songs that we tried to learn was Pearl Jam's Alive off of this album. Fantastic song. It was always fun. I still jam on it a little bit every once in a while to this day, so gotta love Pearl Jam's 10. Another album that was really important to me at the time was this one. This was one of my holy grails, and I got this earlier this year. This is Slave to the Grind by Skid Row, an absolutely fantastic album. We tried to play virtually every song on this album, not very well, but we tried. And this has always been one of my favorites by Skid Row and from that era. Last but not least is this album that was a staple of the early 90s, Metallica's self-titled, we call it the Black Album. Absolutely fantastic album. This was my introduction to Metallica. This and Justice for All. We listened to those constantly in high school. That was almost always playing along with Pantera and Alice in Chains. So these are the albums that remind me of high school. Now let's move into college. In college, I started dating my wife. We had known each other since we were 7 years old, so it's not like we met there, but we started dating in college, and we listened to a lot of country music as we drove back and forth on the weekends from college to our hometowns. So it was about an hour and a half drive. We filled it with country music, and some of that country music included Tim McGraw's Everywhere. We listened to this a lot on the rides to and from school. This is one of my wife's favorites. We listen to this a lot. Dina Carter, Did I Shave My Legs for This? Fantastic. Another one of my wife's favorites is this guy here. This is the Dixie Chicks, Wide Open Spaces. Really good album. And last but certainly not least, this was Billy Joel's The Stranger. And I pulled this one because we listened to Billy Joel just in general, but I pulled this one because this has our actual wedding song on here, Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel. Fantastic. Some of the other highlights that we listened to a lot were Brian White, but he doesn't have anything on vinyl, and I didn't grab any CDs. So there you have it. That would be my entry into this contest, so I hope you enjoyed that. So if you're interested in this contest, again, the rules are you must be a subscriber, you must submit a video by September 30th, and you must leave a comment below telling me that you submitted the video. Again, do not leave a link because YouTube will block that from me seeing it. So just leave a comment that you had made a video. I'll go to your channel and watch the video, add it to a playlist. And so what do you get for entering this contest? Well, I decided to do something fun. I'm going to give the winner a $20 Amazon gift card. If they prefer not to use Amazon, I can change that to a PayPal payment if that's what you would like instead. And also, I'm going to give you an album of my choosing. And what does that mean? Well, I'm going to try to base what I give you on your likes in your video. But I reserve the right to just throw something your way that I think you're going to enjoy. So you may or may not like it. Hopefully you will, but it's something that I really enjoy that I think you will as well. So look at it as your personal shopping trip from me. It may be a new album. It might be a used album. It all depends on what I find and what I like. So that's what the winner will get. If you're interested, please join. Leave a video comment for me to let me know that you're in. And I thank you again so much for being a subscriber to this channel. And I look so forward to seeing everybody's submissions and growing the VC community in my life. So thank you again. And until next time, keep spinning vinyl, friends.